So this is the FME World Tour 2020. At this event, we hope you'll begin your journey to achieving data serenity and automation relaxation with us and with FME. As data users, we have all experienced the problems and headaches that bad data can cause, but as FME users, we also know that there's no place for that kind of data stress. To experience the wonderful after effects of FME, we're inviting you all to take a trip to the FME Platform Data Spa with us. And after that little lot, you now at least know why there's a lizard in a bath on your screens when you signed up for an FME webinar. Anyway, welcome to the tour and thank you for registering. I'd really like to introduce you to the 1Spatial FME World Tour team who are here to help you today. We've got Hayley, who's been responsible for putting the event together, and she'll be controlling the technology for delivering the session. There's myself, I'll be your host, and I'm the FME Division Manager. You can throw techie or sales questions directly at me, but also please post any questions that you might have for our guest speakers direct to me so that I can ask them on your behalf at the end of each session. Dale is also our client advisor, and he's on the Q&A and will be responding to any of your commercial or license-based inquiries. And Mary is one of our principal consultants and an FME technical expert, and she'll be fielding your techie questions. Now, you'll no doubt have some questions during the session, and the beauty of attending an event like this live is that you can also post questions throughout the session. In the GoToWebinar interface, you should be able to see that you've got a Q&A window that looks a little like the one on the slide. In there, you'll be able to send us a message. Feel free to send commercial or technical questions to us and we'll do our best to answer them today. If we miss you though, we're going to be gathering a transcript of the Q&A at the end of the event and make sure that everyone who's posted a question gets a response. Also, during the customer sessions, we're happy to receive questions that you might want to direct at the speakers. I'll be asking those at the end of their sessions, but to help me out a little bit, because I'm going to be spinning a few plates with all of us here. So if you could just send the questions, but please prefix the name of the speaker that you're wanting it to be asked for, and we'll do our best to pose that question at the end of the session. As for sound and video, during the session, we're going to be muting everyone, so don't be offended, it's not just you. We just want to cut down a little bit on the feedback, the echoes, the dog barking, the over-enthusiastic children, that kind of thing. We'll only unmute scheduled speakers at the right time. When it comes to webcams for speakers, they're completely optional. We'd encourage you to share your camera briefly at the start if you really want to, but truly, we don't mind. If it sounds like a hideous prospect, then you don't need to do that. We are all going to just open our cameras right now, just to prove that there are human beings sitting at the end of here. So I'm just going to share my camera, and hopefully you should be able to see us. So there you go. There's the team, the World Tour team. So we're all here, and hopefully you can see the broadcast and everything is coming through okay for you. If you do have any technical problems during the session, we're going to well, we're offering up Dale's mobile phone number. So Dale is sitting there with his phone. If you've got visual or audio problems, I'm going to at least quote this number out to you: 07496 192 If I leave that there for a moment, if you take a note of that, should for any reason you disappear off the call, then give that number a ring, or put your number into the chat window if you lose audio or something, and Dale will try and give you a ring and see if we can get you back. So that's enough of our faces. I'm going to get rid of my camera, and we will see you all later on. Okay, so hopefully you've had time to take the number down. So who are 1Spatial? Well, I guess all you really need to know in the context of today is that we're data specialists who care about data quality. And for 50 years, we've worked with lots of customers' data around the world with their data and our technology. We also partner with some of the best third-party vendors in the market to ensure that our customer solutions include the best of breed kit. So that's a little bit about us. The vendor we're focusing on today is Safe Software, who most of you will be aware make FME, and we're a platinum partner working with them for the last 21 years. You can find our credentials on Safe's website under their partner portal, And you can see that we have got a number of staff who have accreditations. Mary and I are two of those staff with certifications in FME technology. And we're also, as a business, we are one of only 3 FME Cloud Premier managed service providers in the world. So that's quite a nice accolade for us to have. Now, in this in the pre-COVID-19 world, today we'd have actually been delivering this event in person in Cardiff, but things changed for everybody. And of the 72 global world tour hops, we were hosting 7 of them. But as with everybody else in the industry, we had to sort of adapt pretty quickly, really. And I guess we want to thank you guys for also flipping over and coming and joining us on the world tour. But in a virtual sense. So that's where we are today. The volume of events has reduced, but actually we think that the numbers are going to be pretty interesting on the world tour, because we're seeing people and organizations that we haven't previously seen before because of the travel challenges that sometimes going to a physical event bring in. So now people can join us from the comfort of their own homes. So that's nice. The first official World Tour event was in 2011. So actually this is the 10th year that the tour's been on the road. And on a personal note, the 12th year that I've been involved in organising and delivering the World Tour events. But that aside, despite all the challenges, we plan to make this one just as good as previous years. So one thing to make clear right from the start is that because so much material has already been delivered online this year already, we're going to do our best to signpost you to the material where it's relevant. And we'll also issue you with lots of links, but you don't have to worry about writing them all down, because if you leave us a little feedback at the end of the event, we'll send you all the slides with all the links embedded. The first one to highlight is SAFE's own virtual world tour series, which, if you didn't catch it live, has been recorded for you to watch back. We don't intend to just repeat their content here either, because that would be dull for those of you who've already taken part in their sessions. So instead, we're going to dig under the covers of a few of the existing features to highlight certain capabilities in a bit more detail, and we're going to look at some of the new features, and we'll provide you a little bit of local context as well. The links on the slide in front of you signpost you over to SAFE's new features blog, which I'd encourage you to have a skim through, and also their roadshow recordings, which it's worth going and look at. They had a series of 5 events that you might want to go and have a browse through. So I'm also including these short links as well, so you can see those. So hopefully, if you do want to write something down to go and have a look at it immediately, you don't have to write down an enormous URL in most cases. Now, a giveaway that we usually issue at our events is the Transformer Quick Reference Guide, and the hard copies always disappear pretty quickly. So if you want it this year, you can go and get it direct from our website. It's there for you to download. And it's at this point really that I'd like to highlight one of our upcoming webinars as well. Now that's part of our 5 hot features series that we run annually. And whilst you're there signing up for this one, you could also register for some of the others. And I'm going to point you towards those later on as well. Okay, so well, part of what's going to be different about the 1Spatial Data Spa, well, the main thing, I guess, is that I mentioned we're going to be cherry picking some new features and a few old ones as well. We want to highlight those to you. The other thing we're going to do is showcase some customer speakers, though, who are keen to explain to you what they're using FME for and how it benefits them. We were pretty overjoyed really with the volume of people that wanted to speak. I was personally pretty humbled by the amount, to the point that actually we weren't able to fit them all in. We've run 2 events with a number of speakers. Last week we had sessions from Halliburton, Stantec, North Ayrshire Council, Surrey Heath, Groundshore, and also the NHS. So if you think you might be interested in listening to any of their sessions, the recordings from last week and this week will be posted to our on-demand webinar page soon. And this week you can see that we've got an equally excellent lineup, and we're looking forward to sessions from Arup, Mott MacDonald, TfL, Natural Resources Wales, Heath are back again for a second session, and also there's a personal submission from an FME enthusiast as well. Now, for everyone that's been kind enough to donate their time to our event and share their FME story, we have donated to the NHS Charities Together Fund, and we've done that on behalf of each speaker. So a big thank you to all of you. You've done some good today in more ways than one. So for the first time today, then, I'd like to introduce you to the lineup of the FME Data Integration Platform. We'll be talking today about FME Desktop, FME Server, and FME Cloud. So I'd like you to sit back and let's get into a little bit of the detail. Now, FME is available to install wherever you'd like, and if that's on-premise, in the cloud, or perhaps for the first time via a cloud marketplace, there's plenty of choice. And that last option is new for 2020, and I'll provide some more details about it in one of the later sessions. FME is also platform agnostic, so if you're a Windows, Linux, or cloud-based organization, we've got a few opportunities for you of where you can deploy the products. And one thing to say right up front is that we're aware that a few of you listening may not know that whether you're entitled to the latest version of FME or not. So before you go and raise an IT ticket internally, you could drop a note into the Q&A window now, and Dale will tell you. Whilst we're here, though, it's also important to let you know that there are 3 major releases of FME each year. Of course, the FME 2020 release is available right now. That's the 0.0 release. But we expect to see a 0.1 release in the summer and a 0.2 in autumn. And it's important to note that because of the speed that our environment moves in, and all the new formats and environments that appear at any point during the year, those point releases don't just contain changes to existing tools. There's often completely brand new things included in them. So just bear that in mind. We also get a lot of people joining our sessions who don't yet have FME, as well as some organizations who might be planning a change. So if you want to ask about some specific commercial details, or you just want a quick quote, drop a question in the Q&A window and we'll sort that out for you. We can also make free licenses available for a number of scenarios. So there's a couple of things to bear in mind here. One is that if you are brand new to FME, or the concept of the sort of data integration platform itself, you're looking as to whether it's of interest to you, we can help you get up and running with a software trial. We can also build a little proof of concept to sort of work out whether it'll do the job that you want it to do before you commit to it. We can also provide you with a couple of 100 hours of free FME Cloud usage. Now, basically, FME Cloud is FME Server hosted for you. It's in Amazon's environment. The beauty of that is that you can very quickly trial and get used to the FME Server environment without having to deploy FME Server. So, you know, you might decide at the end of it that you want FME Server rather than something that's out on the other side of your firewall. But you know, that trial will give you the option. There's also a grant program, and there's all sorts of options. The most popular one these days is the home use license. I can see that there's a couple of you asking questions about using FME at home already that have just come into the chat. So if that's the case, you can go and get access to a 12-month license to use FME for free for your personal needs. And the benefit of that is that you can get to understand the product and do something fun with it. And I'll touch on some of those fun items later on, and that will help you get up to speed with FME. It's available. The license is available for 12 months, and then you can renew it after that point if you wish. You can also get student licenses. The one I'm interested in is I think is really interesting, is the recent grad license, because when you graduate, you can actually get a free license to use for 12 months under commercial terms. So it's an interesting thing to put on your CV that you come to your new organization with an FME license. Drop a note into the chat if you want to know about any more of those. The other one I'm going to touch on is the resources for COVID-19. A few of you will have seen in the general IT press in our industry that SAFE are offering free licenses. Those are covered under a couple of different scenarios that I can summarize very quickly here. But again, if you think you fall into one of these categories, drop us a note and we'll sort something out for you. Basically, anyone researching or working on COVID-19 relief projects is entitled to get some free FME till the end of September. And the other key scenario is if you've bought FME for use in production and under commercial terms, but you can't actually get to those licenses for any particular reason, because we're all socially distancing from our software licenses that are probably in the office. Maybe you can't VPN into them, whatever. We can sort you out with local fixed licenses to put on any machine to use instead of the ones that you can't get to elsewhere. Anyway, on this topic, I'm just going to very quickly summarize a couple of case study examples of organizations that in recent weeks we've helped out in one way or another with how they can do things with their data or within their organizations around the current pandemic. So I'm just going to alight on three of them. The first one is Stockton-on-Tees. They approached us because they had a bit of a data challenge around conflating school attendance records. So the government has published an Excel template that you can populate with attendance figures. And the main reason for this is to identify or make sure that certain children don't drop out of the system because they are or aren't attending certain school sessions. And it's really just monitoring the situation around attendance. All active schools are required to submit attendance data through this template. 70 schools in Stockton-on-Tees, they were having to submit or are having to submit one spreadsheet per school every school day. Required to, well, it helps to be able to produce some metrics as well. Stockton prefer Power BI from a dashboarding point of view. So we, through a support case, put together a relatively simple workspace that was deployed through the FME Quick Translator that they could provide a series or a raft of these particular templates, and all it would do would turn them into one conflated spreadsheet, just avoiding that manual data conflation, in that extent. The other example I want to just touch on is Geomni in the UK. They're an organisation, Verisk business that are focusing on a product called UK Map. That's one of their premium data offerings. They did some really interesting analysis of their pavement data sets in their UK Map product, took all the polygons and effectively used FME to throw a center line down the middle of each pavement polygon, then create a series of perpendicular lines to that center line, a bit like a fishbone, effectively, clipped off all the little overhanging pieces, worked out the average width of all pavements in the Greater London region, 4.2 million calculations or thereabouts, did all that with a single desktop license and loaded the data into Amazon's RDS, Relational Database Service, PostGIS, and then effectively added value to their product with a traffic light system to identify pavements that you can and can't socially distance based on the width. So there you go. That's a little bit about what they did. They've made their product free as well, a bit similar to the terms of FME. You can get UK Map free until the end of September for those organizations. And then Barnsley, well, I mean, Riley Marsden gave us a bit of an update of some of the things they've done. This is just one of the things. All of those data sets on the right-hand side are data sets that they have loaded and dealt with and loaded into a brand new SQL Server environment, particularly dedicated schema. FME updates that data very regularly, keeps it refreshed. They didn't want to disrupt their daily job runs that they've got in FME Server, so they reached out to us to see if we could improve their FME Server capacity. So we've doubled that, and it allows them to pin their specific COVID activity tasks directly to those additional engines that we've provided. that means that they can keep their daily jobs running and also deal with these extra items. Now, that's it from me for the time being. I'm going to hand you over, hopefully, if I can, by sharing a short video. And I'm just going to swap that over. If you just bear with me 1 second, I'm going to bring that in and play it to you.
Hello, United Kingdom.
And thank you to our partner 1Spatial UK for hosting this event. I'm Don Murray.
And I'm Dale Lutz.
And we're the founders of Safe Software. And we're really sorry we're not able to join you. Normally, during World Tour, our staff is scattered across the globe out to see all the partners. I know I was scheduled for many cities in Europe, and I'm disappointed I wasn't able to do that. And you too, Dale, where were you off to?
I was off to, I think, a record-breaking 6 different cities in Europe this time. It would have been a great time. So yes, there's a lot of disappointment, but at the same time, we all have a choice about how we're going to face this time. And we're hoping all of you are safe and healthy. And at Safe, we're all working from home.
Yeah, and so this has been an interesting, experience for all of us to, work remotely, and we're just thankful at Safe that everybody in our team is safe. We're working as hard as ever to continue to support you and all our customers around the world.
So it's hard not to be very excited. Don and I, of course, are not on the road, which means we're back here working closely with the team. And there's a lot of fantastic stuff in the pipeline, but that shouldn't overshadow the great stuff that already was released at FME 2020.
Yeah, we're super excited about FME 2020. It definitely is the best FME release ever. It doesn't matter where you look, whether it be how much faster is the engine, new systems that are supported, the desktop, and how it just continues to take authoring to the next step, or FME server with automations.
And so we're really glad that you're gathered together wherever you are, virtually or otherwise, and spending some time digging into all the great stuff that FME can do. One of the things we know is that FME is a Swiss Army knife, and a lot of folks don't know that there's a toothpick in there or a scissor. And hopefully today you'll learn a favorite tool or two throughout the day.
Yeah, and part of the World Tour is reaching out to all of you, and so please do reach out back to us, even though we can't be there. We have live chat, we have our amazing community, and there's going to be lots of things that are coming on that as well. So how about those COVID licenses, Dale? You want to talk about that?
Yes, we do have options. We know that many people are working from home and can't access their FME as well. They might need to be doing some additional work related to the crisis that we're all working through. And so we do have a fairly generous plan that's just on our website. So please take advantage of that during this time if it can be helpful in any way.
Yep. And we were going to have an FME UC this year in Vancouver. We've now postponed it to 2021 in August. So we're really optimistic about that, because there's nothing like all of us getting together around the world. So please do put that on your calendar, and we hope to see you all. And just enjoy the best you can during these times. Look after yourself. Look after all you care about, everybody you care about, and be really safe while we all work through this.
So in the meantime, we'll keep doing our best to support you and all the work you're doing now and in the future. And again, we'll look forward to catching up with you in a year, but enjoy the time today.
Yep. And I have to say, Dale, I really like your hair.
my wife is threatening to cut it while I'm sleeping, so I'm a little nervous.
Oh, those are problems I dream of.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
See you all.